That's Logan Lynn, betting it all on his new album, SOFTCORE. In addition to writing and recording his own songs, Logan's a filmmaker, television personality, mental health advocate, and LGBT activist. Along with the 11 songs that make up SOFTCORE, Logan has made a film, and the music videos are all part of that experience. We found Logan in Boise, Idaho, just before SOFTCORE was being released, and he explains further.
Those are all scenes from the film. So we did I think about these things visually as well as like the audio. It's sort of both are really important. So made a film that's sort of, can be broken up into music videos for the release. But on the day that the album comes out this Friday, the whole thing comes out film and record.
And how will we see the film? Is it going to be on YouTube?
Kill Rock Stars YouTube. Yeah.
Okay.
And there's my guess is that it'll also be on Apple Music. Usually all of that stuff is over there as well.
Okay, excellent. Yeah. All righty. Well, that's tomorrow here, so it's not too far away.
Hey, awesome. I love it. Almost
one
release day.
And the scene one is also the track one, which is your cover of the Bill Callahan tune, To Be of Use. So
Correct.
Let's start there, since that starts the record off. Why is that where it is, and what does that song mean to you?
Most of my fantasies are of making someone else come.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs, if not my favorite song of all time. I got that record when I was a teenager in 1998, and it really mattered to me at the time and has continued to matter to me over the years. I think also has changed meaning several times as I've listened. I think the through line of my experience of that song is that I also, throughout my life have tried to find a way to be useful. And the thing that tethers me to the planet usually is that, right? That I feel like my day mattered to somebody other than me, that I am not just taking up space, but actually making things better somehow. So that song is about that. And I think, it's also for me, always has felt like a goodbye, his words. And so I think starting the record, which is a goodbye into a hello album, it just felt right. And I think sonically, it is a good foreshadowing of what people are going to get on the record, right? It starts very, very quiet and tender and soft, and then ends as a total banger, four on the floor dance party. And I feel like the record kind of is on that journey as well.
Right. So was there at some point where the idea for this record came together for you, or did it kind of come in bits and pieces? How did you put the concept?
It's like a faucet for me. It's either all the way on or all the way off.
Right.
And I historically do records back to back within a 5-year period. And then I take a big, long, equally sort of 5-year break, and then records happen again. So this one happened all at once. I write songs to try to process what's going on in my life. I know it's not super groundbreaking, but that is what's happening over here. It's a therapeutic tool for me. And so, I write until I feel better. And sometimes I don't feel better. This wasn't one of those times. This was a time where I actually was able to kind of write through it. And I think almost immediately make it into something that felt beautiful to me instead of painful. And I think, all the collaborations and all of just the being able to share it with other people, whether that's filmmakers that I worked with or other producers and artists, it feels like it belonged to other people immediately as well, which I like. I think that's the experience I'm going for generally, is this experience I'm having internally, this feeling or whatever, this thing I'm navigating is so painful and bad. I need to make it belong to someone other than just me. And this time that happened pretty instantly. Sometimes I still own it afterwards and the whole thing doesn't work. And I'm like, well, I did all that and it still feels like it's mine. But this time it really has felt like the story that inspired me to write it has over time sort of zoomed out to be more about, I think, a universal feeling experience.
Right. Well, speaking of universal feeling and experience, I don't know. I just interviewed another gentleman a couple of weeks ago who had a similar kind of backstory to you.
Sure.
I don't. You may even know him. I don't know. John Grant. Do you know him?
I do. Yeah, I love John Grant.
Right. And he's off in Iceland these days, but
Right.
he grew up. He's gay and he grew up with a conservative religious upbringing that
Yeah,
didn't go so well for him. And
I can relate. Yeah.
yeah, I thought you might. I mean, it's unfortunately more common than you would like to believe. So,
Yeah, I believe it. Every time I hear that it's happening, I believe it. That certainly was my lived experience. And I think oftentimes the other artists or other gay men that I vibe with are people that have come through some sort of fire, whether that's a religious fire or, addiction recovery. I'm also 16 years into that. I think
right.
a lot of us have these journeys that we end up finding each other, or our music is like friends, or we're on the same playlist. And it's because we have sort of a shared point of view by way of our lived experiences.
Yep, yep. So you co-produced this with a person named Gino Mari.
I did, yeah. He's my longtime songwriting collaborator, producer. He's worked on several of my records over the years.
And how do you work together on this one?
I think because it's like we're in such a long-term relationship, he and I. Like we have a musical sort of literacy between the two of us, where we don't. He knows what I'm trying to do before I really have to explain it, which is just beautiful.
Right.
And this record, unlike other records that have happened, didn't happen totally remote. Like we were in the same city at the same time as the songs were being written, and then I moved here to Boise for love and finished the album, did all my vocals and stuff here, and made the film here. So the last part of it was sort of long distance, but the actual writing of the songs, very much the same as our usual process, which is like they kind of come to me a cappella only, just like spiritual, a cappella spirituals. And I have like the arrangement set that way in my vocal notes in my phone. Then I take that to him and we build out the music from there. Really, I couldn't do these songs by myself. He's an essential part. Me having a producer is an essential part. I think one only has to look, 2006 and back in my catalog to know what I sound like without any help. And we're just all glad I don't do that anymore.
Okay. Well, it's kind of good to find what works for you. I mean, there are people through exactly the opposite situation,
Totally. Yeah, no, I'm a songwriter and I'm really good at the parts that I'm really good at. And I'm really good at knowing what I want the musicians to play, great at humming what
right.
My directions I can hum. But like me trying to do that, no, we're in trouble.
All right. So the album is called SOFTCORE, and I believe the video has just gone live like yesterday or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the final single, I assume, before the release, which is tomorrow. So
yeah.
What does softcore mean to you?
I don't know who you came for, but I know just what you'll stay for. It's not a goddamn mystery. So leave your pants on the floor. I know just what you're in for. That ass is history.
Yeah, I think, the record is obviously an exploration of sexuality at times. So the obvious on the nose part was on purpose with that title. It's also about, I think, more deeply about my experience of being given the opportunity to harden up and close down, close off, quit the world, quit love in the face of pretty brutal betrayal and just hurt, right? Like, and in the past, I would have found some clever way to hurt myself or blow up my life or something, and I didn't do that this time. So I think softcore as a theme throughout is like, keeping my core soft and open and being willing to be hurt and also still believe in love and a happy ending. I think all of that is a through line of the record. And, the sex part is also very real. Like I'm sort of unabashedly talking about horny stuff throughout it. So I think the double entendre of the title fits.
Right. I got to say, I love the various gowns and things that you're wearing throughout all these videos, especially the dressing gown of many colors. That's
Thank you.
I feel alone when I'm with you.
I feel alone when I'm with you. I feel alone when I'm with you. And I can do lonely by myself. I can be alone with no one else. I don't need some man to make me moan. I can be angry on my own. Said I don't need some man to make me moan. I can be angry on my own.
So, do you have them stashed in the closet somewhere?
Yeah, I do. I don't wear that to the grocery store usually, especially not here in Idaho.
Right.
No, I'm a fashion victim from way back. I love playing dress up, and that's always a part of these album cycles, at least in the last decade. I always want it to look a certain way the entire time, and I tend to embody that in all of the visual media, or like when we go to award shows or things like that. Like I look the part during these eras. But I think, again, like with those looks, I wanted this record and these songs to also be a texture, kind of, right? Like a soft, I wanted to bring out masculine and feminine at the same time in a really pronounced way on the songs and in the outfits and looks. And I think we did that successfully. Like I did have an experience at the Grammys this year where I was dressed like, whatever I'm dressed like. I've heard several the external takes on what I look like has been a riot this round, but a very famous pop star who I will not name stopped me at this GLAAD Grammys party and said, "Wow, that's a look." And I said, "Thank you."
What?
And they looked at me and said, "Little Bo Gay Peep has lost her sheep."
Oh my God.
And I was like, oh no. But I think, like whatever, it's inspiring people. Like a lot of people like it. Some people at the Grammys maybe didn't. But I also feel like that is just as satisfying to me. Like I love that reaction. I want people to scratch their heads as much as I want people to enjoy it.
It's better than being ignored or forgotten, right?
Yes, I don't think I'm in a forgettable era currently with my clothing. So we've hit the nail on the head there.
All right, very good. The track before Softcore is one called "I Get High," which I kind of was hoping to touch on as well with you, and I think you worked with somebody called Bitch on that.
I get high when I want to. I get high when I want to dance. I get high when I want to give it up to you, give it up to you. I get high when I need to. I get high when I get the chance. I get high when I got to give it to you, give it to you.
Yeah, Bitch. She is like one of my just all-time musical heroes. I love her. I've collaborated with her in the past. My first release on Kill Rock Stars, in fact, was a cover of Gossip Standing in the Way of Control, which I did with Bitch. So it was kind of a no-brainer when I was thinking about collaborators for this album, who I wanted to reach out to. And she just had like the best ideas for that song and sent back like her vocal ideas. And we were like, hell yes, let's do this. And I feel like, that's sort of how she and I work together all the time. I think we try to show up for each other, and she definitely showed up for that song on this record.
All right. So the record's out in a day or two. And then are you hitting the road? Are you doing some shows? What's the plan?
I can neither confirm nor deny that at this moment in time, but it is very possible I will be playing some shows.
All right.
Yes.
Because I think I saw some poster of Portugal the Man, and I don't know if that was.
Yeah, I run their foundation. I've worked with that band for years, and I do activate other bands' tours, like in the direction of community. Like I do that all the time, doing that all summer. But some Logan Lynn shows are definitely en route for fall.
Oh, good. All right. Excellent. And you do a lot of other things. So how do you personally focus on one thing or the other? What drives you to go? Do you just kind of go with the feeling, or you've had enough of one and now you want to make some films, or you want to do some TV, or what?
I know it's all happening all at once usually, which is an interesting process. I feel like back to that wanting to be useful thing, that really is an anchor for me in life and in business and in just, art. So the more I do with other people, the more I collaborate, the more I can show up and help my community, the better I feel about being here. And I feel really good about being here. And I think those things are connected. I think I'm happier and feel more at peace because of all the things that I've sort of all the pathways I've found for myself to walk. And, I think it's all connected. It looks really disparate from the outside, but like I've been able to use my music and entertainment background to activate in the direction of community in a number of ways. And I think that has really added a layer of personal fulfillment to my career that just didn't exist when it was all songs and dance and aren't I cool. All of that matters. I mean, I love all of that part too, but the thing that actually makes me feel like I have had a day that, maybe mattered to somebody else is all of the community work.
Very good. All right. Well, it sounds like it's all happening and all coming together in a good way for you.
Yeah, not bad.
Nice to
Not,
see.
all's well that ends well.